Hello everyone, it is Monday, I almost said morning, it's Monday afternoon, and I kind of just had a slow start to the day. I woke up, cleaned up, I did the dishes this morning, even though I always do the dishes at night. I rarely go to bed with dishes in the sink, but last night I actually passed out on the couch with the cats. Woke up about 3 a.m. and I was like, you know what? I brushed my teeth, I flossed, I crawled into bed. That's all the energy I had last night. But I woke up this morning, I cleaned up a bit. I had some toast and I made some coffee, and I actually put it in that new tea set that I got from Ross a few weeks ago, actually months ago maybe. I haven't used it because I was trying to wait for like a special occasion to use it, and I realized, number one, there might not be a special occasion that comes up that I think is worth busting that whole set out. And two, I know everyone says it, or at least people say it now, but every day is kind of a special occasion. I mean, every day that you're able to wake up and take on life and do the things that you want to do or need to do, it's a special occasion. Anyway, I decided to use the set today, and it was nice, it's cute. I would love to use it for tea. I noticed that the kettle has like little, not gratings, but little holes at the mouth spout area just so that it can catch loose leaf tea. And I found a coffee shop that sells their own brand of loose leaf tea, and I'm not really on a no buy, but I'm on a low buy, I'll say that, because there's still some stuff I need to get that maybe aren't necessities that I just really want to get. I'm not really getting the bare minimum when I go grocery shopping. I am getting like fun creamers and things like that, but I am on a low buy for January. I'm trying not to spend money on things that I just really don't need. Like, I don't need a new blank. If I have one already, just use it up. I mean, realistically, use it for forever chi until you actually need a new one. But at least January, coming into the new year, you know, spend less on non-necessities. And that's actually going to be one of my 2024 soft goals, which I want to go over with you guys and just kind of chat about the plan for this year. You know, hopefully, knock on wood, if this is real wood, the plan for this year and kind of where I see myself in the near future, in the further future, kind of like 1 year from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years. Because I know I mentioned on a vlog, I was like, oh yeah, in 10 years. And I was like, hold on, where do you even see yourself in 5 years? What are you talking about? So I had some time to think and really sit down with some of the thoughts that I've been having and the goals that I want to see myself accomplish, whether they're short-term, mid-term, long-term, whether they're financial, whether they're just personal, whether they're social media-esque goals. I'm gonna go over my soft goals for you guys, and maybe we'll pivot into a few of my other goals. And if not in this vlog, we'll maybe talk about it later if you guys are interested in some of my other non-soft goals. I'm gonna kind of designate them between soft goals and push goals. I'm gonna go over my soft goals in this video, and again, if you guys want to hear more about my push goals, which are ideally not soft, they're not super hard in, you know, in theory, and they're not anything that is extreme, but they are kind of exactly how they are, like a push. Like I have to give myself a little bit more of a push, more momentum to take care of them, to knock them out. Whereas my soft goals, I think, are things that I could do if I really slow down and pay attention. I think that's how I would describe my soft goals. They're not necessarily easy, but I think they're going to be accomplished by taking it slower, doing things a bit more slower and softer and simply, slowing down and paying attention. The first 2024 soft goal that I have is to make it before I buy it. I've kind of already started on that path with some of the things I've been making at home. I make my own bread products, so wheat bread, white bread, bagels, corn tortillas, flour tortillas. What else am I making? I'm sure there's a few other things. Oh, dinner rolls, just bread products. I've just been making on my own for I think the last 1 or 2 months, and it's been really nice. Granted, it's not the most convenient. It takes time. It's not like I can grab a loaf of bread at the store if I'm already out and have bread immediately. But what I found is that the bread tastes amazing, and it feels good to make something from scratch. That's not necessarily just maybe a treat, like a cupcake, a cake, and even those are amazing because I have other examples of things that I've made from scratch, like ice cream. But making staples like bread is just so different. It feels like I'm sustaining myself in a way that can be bought, but I prefer to make, if that makes sense. It's been really nice. It's been very peaceful. Even yesterday when I made the bread that I actually ate today, I realized that if I kind of keep going in this direction, I could be at a point where I'm not fully self-sustainable. I think that would take a long, long time. But I could be at a point where something like a weather, issue where maybe we can't drive or the grocery stores aren't open wouldn't necessarily put me in too big of a panic. Granted, I can't have everything. I can't make everything that I can get at the store, but I feel like having that skill where I can go home and make it, assuming I have all the materials to make it. But I've really been enjoying making things before I just go and buy it. I've been making my own non-dairy ice cream, so I make oat milk ice cream. All the bread products that I have, I make my own salsa, my own guac, my own peanut butter recently. I make my own pickled jalapenos, my own pickles. So it's been really nice, and I want to continue that. If there's a possibility of me being able to make something before I buy it, I really want to lean into that this year. My second soft goal for 2024 is to have at least 90 no spend days, which I think is very possible. I don't spend every single day, and I'm not spending like a crap ton of money every day or just in general, but I notice that the little things build up. A cute little something at Target's dollar spot, or a cute little something in the home section at Target. Target is my biggest op, I'll be honest with you guys. I've noticed the little things add up, and before you know it, you're calculating these little $5, $10 little purchases, and you're like, how did I spend X amount of money in a month or in a quarter or the year? How did that happen? And it's really just the little things, because the big things you usually save up for, or you're very aware when you're spending like $200 on something, but it's the little things we forget about, that we forget to track, or we forget to, check in that like, this is something, it's gonna add up. It doesn't just go away. So really, I've been wanting to kind of lean more into no spend days. I think it would be really hard for me to say January is 100% a no spend month, only necessities, because I feel like that's very restrictive. That's very harsh. That's very, cold turkey for me. But I think incorporating just a number so it's measurable throughout the year. So of course the goal is to have more than 90 no spend days, but I think at least hitting the 90 will make me feel good. Like, this is the start of me being very mindful about what I'm buying, for the sake of, I'm in a smaller home, so bringing in a lot of stuff just isn't something I want to do. And two, financially, you don't really want to look back and be like, oh, that was such a waste of money. Like all those little knickknacks, all those little things, whatever, that you don't even know if you still have anymore. You don't want to look back and think like that, especially as you get older and you start, for me, I invest, I save, emergency fund, like the nine, you have your setup. And when you think and you're like, man, I could have invested that, or man, I could have saved that, or, you get to the point, I think, as you get older, and I think my frontal lobe it's developed. I mean, it took a minute. I think hitting 27, something just clicked for me, honestly, and good on me for that. My third soft goal for 2024, this is gonna require patience on my end, skill, but patience I think is like a big thing for me, is to grow and harvest at least 2 vegetables. We all know the hot mess express last year gardening was, but I will say, looking back, I was not a patient grower. It was my first time ever trying to grow something, and I just assumed that if I stick it in the dirt and water it every so often, maybe every day, it'll grow. That's the whole point of this seed. That was not the case. I needed to have practiced a little bit more patience when it came to growing patience, softness, simpleness. So this year I've already started, if you've seen my last vlog and the vlog before, I already started my 2024 garden, but I'm actually following the rules based on my area. So the grow guide for my area, and I'll link the website that I'm using where I just typed in my zip code, and then also following the instructions for each type of seed in the plant so that I know that I'm not just watering them all at the same time or the same amount. Certain vegetables need to be watered more, some less, some need to be started inside, some need to be started outside, and I really need to listen to that, to slow down and listen. Slow down and do. Not just go for it in terms of, oh, it'll be fine. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes going for it and not paying attention and not slowing down and really taking your time doesn't work out, and I need to lean into that more. So I think by saying at least 2, it takes the pressure off of me saying, oh, I need to harvest every single thing that I plant, like every type of vegetable that I plant I need to harvest. It might not happen. I mean, the weather outside, I could follow the instructions and take my time, and the weather outside could be like, actually girl, no, we're gonna freeze and all your crops will be gone. But I think slowing down, simplifying how I'm doing things will really help, so that at least if I don't end up harvesting, you know, every single thing that I plant, I know that I at least tried and I did the best I could for those plants, so that going forward, it's maybe how can we work with the weather, not how can we work with the weather. Also, Chi, you weren't even paying attention. Was it the weather? Was it you? Was it the grow guide? You weren't listening to anything. So that is definitely a goal that I have, to harvest at least 2. 1 would make me very happy, 2 would put me over the moon. So let me say 1 to 2. I think that'll make me really happy. And I started my veggies inside. They're actually pushed in this corner. They're usually under or over the stove, because the light acts as just like the sun, especially these last few days of it just being dreary and cold and gross outside. So not a lot of sun is coming in. So I've been using the light from my microwave as a faux heat lamp, as long as it works. So that's what I've been doing, but I moved it for the sake of having this on and then all the lighting, because I know I look very bright right now. My 4th 2024 soft goal is to read at least 12 books. You guys know I was reading so much, not last year, but the year before, and I think the end of the year before that, 2022, 2023. I was reading books. I mean, books on tops of books. I was reading books. I spent all my free time reading, which was amazing. But I think what I did was I burned myself out from reading, because last year I could not, I don't know if I think I've read 1 or 2 books last year in total, which is crazy coming from maybe reading, I think, 20 plus books the year before. So what I'm going to do this year is to just give myself basically a book a month. And whether that's me reading a full book 1 month and doing, 12 books, 1 book a month, or I skip a month and I read 2 books the next month. But I think hitting at least 12 books this year will give me the time between each book, and will also motivate me to get back into reading without putting so much pressure on me. Instead of saying, oh, I'm going to read 24, 36, because even when I do have time, I'm finding that I want to spend it differently. I maybe want to prep something for something I'm gonna make. Maybe I want to bake something for the week. So it's not that I don't enjoy reading anymore. I think it's just I found other ways to spend my free time that are also peaceful and engaging for me. So I do want to get back into reading, but I do want to take a soft approach to it. I don't want to make myself feel bad for not reading as much as I used to, because I grew up reading. I love books. I'm a paperback book girl. I'll read a hardcover, but I'm just a sucker for a paperback book. And I think I'm just gonna lean into reading the books and get that to be read list and get all these books that I feel like I should be reading because I had them on my list for so long. Just get them out of my head, and if I'm out and I see a book that's interesting, hopefully at Goodwill, please remind me, because those books are so affordable and so good, and the quality is just amazing. I have 2 books that I thrifted in my last vlog. They're $1.99 and they look like they were just bought, read once, and put there, which is great. There's no weird missing pages or anything. So if I'm out, maybe, I don't know if I'll be thrifting since I'm kind of doing my no spend days. I think having the 12 books is just kind of like a baseline will be good, because in my head, like I said, it's going to be like 1 book a month, or I can stack 2 and then skip a month. But I think just 12 will be a good re-engaging goal for myself. And then of course maybe next year or even this year I could realize, wow, I actually missed reading, I want to read more. But I think having just the baseline of 12 will be really motivating for me to get back into it in a very soft and simple way without being too harsh on me and just my brain. Because I mean, it's brain work. Reading is fun and engaging, but it's also brain work. So maybe sometimes I don't want to use my brain. Maybe sometimes I just want to watch something silly on TV and laugh. And you know, the types of books I read, sometimes they're not comedy, sometimes they're thrillers and exciting, sometimes kind of sad. I am a crier when it comes to books, but I think that will be a good baseline to get me back into reading for 2024. My last 2024 soft goal is one that I've already started to incorporate in terms of doing my own research and trying to figure out where I can go, where I should buy, if I do spend, where should I spend, is to spend and shop locally. So I'm in Texas, and I think the one good thing about being in Texas is we have so many different options for Texas farmers, Texas growers. And I think what I really want to do is, if I am going to spend money on items, or food items, or just home items, or vintage something or another items, to try to gear my interests and my spending and my wallet towards local businesses, whether they're small businesses or maybe they're just local. So what I've been doing right now is to try to kind of pivot into shopping more locally, is going online, and I forgot the website, but I'll link it down below if you're in Texas, and I think maybe they have a general one for everywhere that you can look up your own state, is try to find local farmers that sell meat, that sell veggies, that sell fruit, that sell any type of grain, just to help support those businesses. And I think it's nice to know where your things come from, especially when I'm kind of leaning more into making things before I buy it. If I'm making as much as I can before I buy it at maybe like a big box store, having the items that I can only get like out because someone else, you know, makes it, like I can't make my own meat, buying that locally rather than going to a big box store if I can. Nothing is wrong with shopping where you can get your stuff. I don't ever want that to be the feeling like, oh, I can't go to Walmart or H-E-B or Target, because no, if it's convenient for you, if it is cheaper for you, if it just makes your life easier, shop where you can. Shop where you can get your money's worth. Shop where it makes you happy, and shop where you feel good about it.